General Fuzzy stood on the bridge of the Kelzakian destroyer, gazing out the wide viewport with all six of his icy blue eyes. Before him floated the entirety of his genetically engineered invasion fleet, engineered to perfection just for this attack. He felt pride in his creations. They were the ultimate super soldiers, bred purely for war. Their ceremonial armor glistened black and menacing, layered with protective energy shields. Each soldier stood 7 feet tall and rippled with pure muscle mass. Their strength could crush rock, and their reflexes moved faster than any normal being. Fuzzy's scientists had edited their DNA, removing emotions like fear and enhancing useful traits like stamina and obedience. These soldiers lived only to serve the Kelzakian Empire's conquest of the galaxy. Today, finally, they would be unleashed. "Ready the landing craft," ordered Fuzzy. "Set coordinates for the human colony on Belarius 9. Belarius 9, a planet rich with resources but settled illegally by human colonists in Kelzakian space. It was time to evict them from the planet. Permanently. Hundreds of landing craft detached from the fleet and began their descent into the atmosphere of Belarius 9. Inside sat 20 super soldiers each, armed to the teeth. As the ships pierced through the clouds, the planet's surface came into view. Small domed habitats around a central hub, surrounded by lush forests and clear turquoise seas, almost serene. Fuzzy turned to his soldiers aboard the destroyer. "Today we will remind the galaxy that this is our territory. Go forth and annihilate every last human down there. Leave no survivors." A chorus of "Yes, sir" echoed through the ship. The super soldiers' voices were mechanically harsh, another side effect of their genetic engineering. Emotionless, efficient, ruthless. Nothing could stop them or sway them from their mission. Or so Fuzzy believed. Inside landing craft 777, Super Soldier I-Key Z 7789 sat in silence, tightly gripping his plasma rifle. Through the window, he could see the colorful alien vegetation zooming below. He had heard stories of these humans before. They were weak, physically and technologically inferior to Kelzakians, and yet they were creative in ways his people were not. Expressive, emotional. Strange concepts, but for some reason, Ike Z7789 wanted to understand them. What was art? Music? Love? His training told him these were pointless pursuits, but his altered genes were designed to make him curious as well. There were layers beyond war. As the landing craft touched down and the doors opened, his fellow soldiers charged out into the human colony, weapons ready. But instead of enemies, the humans stood in a welcoming line, smiling and holding out flowers? This was no battle. AKZ 7789 stepped forward, not knowing what to make of this gesture. The humans seemed friendly, happy even, as if they wanted to meet their invaders. His rifle suddenly felt heavy in his hands. What happened next would change his existence forever. AKZ 7789 stared in bewilderment at the colorful flowers being offered by the smiling humans. This was certainly not the battle he had expected. Behind him, the other Kelzakian super soldiers shuffled in confusion, lowering their plasma rifles hesitantly. One human, an elderly bearded man, stepped forward, holding a vibrant purple flower. "Welcome, friends," he said warmly. "We are so honored to have you join us on this joyous day." Joyous day? AKZ 7789 thought. "We came here to massacre you." A female human approached the soldier next to AKZ 7789. "For you," she said, tucking a red flower behind the soldier's ear. His comrade looked baffled but did not pull away. "Please, come join our celebration," the old man continued. "We have prepared a feast in anticipation of meeting new species. We want to share our culture with you." New species? These humans did not even recognize Kelzakians as their sworn enemies. They saw invaders and wanted to befriend them. It was baffling. AKZ 7789 scanned the crowd. There were no weapons or fear, just cheerful faces. He lowered his own rifle. Perhaps This was an opportunity to gather intelligence before attacking. "Take me to this feast," he ordered the old man gruffly. Some of his soldiers looked uneasy. Surely this was a trap. But AKZ-7789 had to see how these humans behaved. The old man's smile grew wider. "Wonderful. Right this way." They were led through the colorful domed buildings to an open courtyard filled with long tables. Humans of all ages sat feasting, laughing, embracing. At the center stood a statue of two figures, one human and one alien, shaking hands. Musicians played lively tunes. Children ran about giggling. It was like nothing AKZ-7789 had witnessed before. Where was the discipline? The uniformity? Yet it was enticing. The old man offered AKZ-7789 an assortment of mouth-watering foods. He sampled cautiously. An explosion of flavors surged through him, unlike anything his rations had provided. Nearby, a group of humans were painting a massive mural on the courtyard wall. One turned and painted Ike Z-7789's armor in rainbow colors before he could object. Another placed a garland of flowers on his head. For a moment, AKZ-7789 forgot why he was there. These humans confused him, but also awakened something new within his engineered mind. This sensation was dangerous, he knew, and yet he wanted to understand more. What else were these humans capable of? What did it mean to not be a creature of war? AKZ-7789 knew then his mission here would not be as simple as General Fuzzy had ordered. There was more to this alien race than expected, and perhaps more to himself as well. After the feast, AKZ-7789 gathered his Kelzakian soldiers in an empty courtyard. Their armor was still splattered with paint from the cheerful humans. "These humans are unusual," AKZ-7789 said. "Their behavior does not align with our briefing." The super soldiers nodded and murmured. In their short time among the humans, each had experienced jarring sensations. A child had hugged one while giggling. Another human had described clouds to a soldier who had never seen the sky before. One super soldier, even now, clutched a musical instrument a human had gifted him. He strummed it awkwardly, mesmerized by the sounds. "I do not think we should destroy them," AKZ-7789 declared. The soldiers looked shocked. Was this insubordination? Treason? "But General Fuzzy's orders," a super soldier replied. "I know, but these humans have technology we do not understand. They have opened their culture to us. Perhaps we should try to learn from it." The idea perplexed the soldiers. Their mission was simple: destroy the settlement, and yet they had all seen glimpses of something in the humans that gave them pause. One super soldier had painted a picture of the smiling child who hugged him. The colors and brushstrokes captured the warmth he had felt. Another, enthralled by the musicians, was composing his own song about the strange feast. AKZ-7789 knew General Fuzzy would never allow this. Their programming urged them to obey, but the humans had awakened something more, human within their engineered minds. Emotions, creativity, empathy. "I will return to General Fuzzy," AKZ-7789 decided. "You all stay here, among the humans. I will tell the General we failed our mission. Then we can design a new one, to learn from and live among this culture." The soldiers were conflicted. Could they really rebel? Yet this planet, with music, art, laughter, IT resonated within them. They wanted more. "We will integrate with these people," AKZ-7789 said. "Learn their languages, their history. Allow them to learn from us as well. We can share military discipline and honor. Perhaps in time we can build a new society together, both human and Kelzakian. A beginning, not an end." One soldier handed AKZ-7789 a crude drawing, the planet with a heart around it. The message was clear. This place was their home now. They would defend it against any invaders who threatened this new feeling of family. They did not have a word for it yet in their language, but the soldiers felt something novel and profound. Hope. A future beyond programming, beyond combat. Each soldier resolved to nurture this flower and shield it from harm. General Fuzzy's rage echoed through the massive destroyer ship. "You were created to annihilate, not socialize with these humans," he shouted at IKZ 7789. The general paced back and forth, his armored boots cracking the steel floor. He had expected a simple report of success from Belarius 9. Instead, his super soldier disobeyed a direct order. Unacceptable. "I warned you these humans were dangerous creatures," Fuzzy growled. "Look what they have done, corrupted the minds of my finest soldiers with their meaningless art and music. Made you weak." He spat the last word. Weakness was the greatest failure. "You have betrayed your people and your purpose," the general declared coldly. AKZ 7789 stood motionless. "Respectfully, sir, the humans have much to teach us. Their culture is rich, complex." "Silence!" Fuzzy slammed his fist down. "I will burn their settlement to ash and reprogram you all myself. You will be the mindless machines you were designed to be." The general opened a channel to the full Kelzakian fleet. "Set course to Belarius 9 immediately. Destroy the humans. Leave no survivors or trace of their culture." Hundreds of ships began their descent toward the planet. Fuzzy's own destroyer carried thousands more super soldier reinforcements. AKZ 7789 realized this massive force would overwhelm his small rebel faction guarding the human colony. They had to stop the attack at the source, Fuzzy's own ship. As their vessel entered the atmosphere, AKZ 7789 slipped unnoticed between his advancing comrades to the armory. He armed himself for a one-soldier assault on the bridge and the general himself. Blaster fire rang out as he tore his way through the ship. Kelzakian soldiers were no match for his determination to protect his new home. One by one they fell, but AKZ 7789 took no joy in it. These were still his kin, but they left him no choice. By the time he reached the bridge, alarms were sounding. The general awaited with his elite guard, plasma rifles aimed. "You are defective, soldier, and there is only one fate for your kind," Fuzzy sneered, raising his own massive rifle. AKZ 7789 stood his ground. "The humans showed us who we could become, more than what we were engineered to be. I cannot allow you to take that from us." He charged, blasting furiously at the general. His fellow super soldiers hesitated, seeing the fire and conviction in his eyes. AKZ 7789 crashed into Fuzzy, and they tumbled to the ground, wrestling for control of the rifle. AKZ 7789 smashed it from the general's hands. He stood over Fuzzy, weapon aimed at his head. This was his chance to end it all. AKZ 7789's finger hovered over the plasma rifle's trigger, ready to fire. At his feet, General Fuzzy stared up in hatred and defiance. "Go on then. Kill me," the general snarled. "It will change nothing. My soldiers will burn your precious colony and kill every last human." AKZ 7789 hesitated. Could he kill his own general in cold blood? Was there another way? Suddenly, the ship rocked violently. Muffled explosions echoed through the hull. The humans were attacking. "Sir, incoming vessels!" shouted a Kelzakian soldier at the bridge controls. He pulled up an image of dozens of ships emerging from the clouds, firing on the fleet. The humans had come to their rescue just in time. AKZ 7789 saw sleek fighters, bulky frigates, even converted cargo ships outfitted with weapons. He allowed himself a glimmer of hope. Explosions burst along the hull. General Fuzzy scrabbled to his feet as AKZ 7789 rushed to the viewport. It was chaos outside, and Kelzakian ships swarmed in a deadly dance. Beams sizzled through space, striking hulls and sending debris flying. The humans were outgunned, but they bravely held their ground, protecting their home. Several Kelzakian ships took critical hits and plummeted from the sky in flames. The sight gave IKZ 7789 an idea. "Order our fleet to pull back and regroup," he commanded Fuzzy. When the general refused, AKZ 7789 aimed his rifle persuasively. Fuzzy's eyes burned with hate, but he gave the order. The Kelzakian ships began retreating under heavy fire from the human fleet. Just a little more. At last, they broke atmosphere and entered space. "Now, deactivate all weapon systems," IKZ 7789 ordered. "Do it!" Grudgingly, Fuzzy entered the codes. The Kelzakian warships now drifted harmless and defenseless above the planet. Moments later, the battered human ships rejoined them. AKZ 7789 hailed the humans from the bridge communications panel. "My friends, target their propulsion systems, but do not destroy the ships. Force them to land intact." The humans obeyed, carefully disabling each Kelzakian ship and guiding it back into the atmosphere. AKZ 7789 watched with satisfaction as Fuzzy fumed helplessly. Soon all the invading Kelzakian soldiers were corralled in the settlement, disarmed. The humans had won. AKZ 7789 emerged from Fuzzy's ship to cheers. The other super soldiers came running to meet him, embracing their comrades in celebration. "You have all made me proud today," AKZ 7789 told them. "And we could not have done it without our new human friends." The elderly man who had first welcomed AKZ 7789 to the feast stepped forward. "My friend, though you came here as invaders, you now have our trust," he said. "Together, we will forge a new future between our peoples. We will share knowledge, culture, and mutual respect." AKZ 7789 clasped hands with the man. "Nothing would honor us more." Fuzzy was imprisoned for war crimes. In time, some of the Kelzakian soldiers even chose to remain on Belarius 9 and integrate into the colony, sharing engineering skills and military tactics. It was the dawn of a new age, not always peaceful, but focused on communication, balance, and the celebration of differences, all thanks to a group of super soldiers who learned the humans' greatest power, not weapons, but open and loving hearts.